Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is. Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And this one I've got, you guys can see a serious face. This one's not funny. This isn't joking. This one's not really a laughing matter. So I just watched, I guess, KingC's, that's the name she has in there. I don't know her full name, but it's Larry Wheels' girlfriend, ex-girlfriend of 5 years. And she had some pretty scathing accusations and some evidence of some of it. So let me go ahead and put on my +5 hat of speechcraft and let's talk about this. Because I'm a little bit in shock because I really did not see this coming. Just kind of hit me out of left field. I listened to her whole video, including the audios of what she had recorded transpiring between them. And yeah, I'm a little bit shocked. Now, I think that we need to address this and we need to be fair about this sort of thing. Because look, I'm the first person to be sympathetic to the fact that people do make up things about other people. Believe me, I am. I'm sympathetic to the fact that there are times when women might make false accusations towards men. I get that, so I don't want people to say that I'm just automatically taking everything she says as gospel and just saying he's guilty, guilty, guilty. I'm not doing that. All right, I'm not doing that. But she does have some evidence. She does have some evidence. And believe me, guys, I can be sympathetic to the fact that people on the internet make their own evidence up, fake evidence, upload it to the internet, and then claim that that's proof that you did whatever when they're the fabricators of the evidence to begin with. I've had that sort of stuff happen to me. I get it. I understand. I understand a lot of guys are going to say, well, you know, a lot of times when you break up with a girl, they do things out of revenge. In this case, it looks like she's the one trying to break up with him. And she's saying he won't leave her alone. She's tried to tell him to leave her alone and he won't. And this is kind of her next step. And what I would say is that we don't need to automatically just assume she's being 100% honest, but we better listen. She's at least got a right to be heard. I will link her video down below also for you guys to check out. She at least has a right to be heard. And for people to fairly listen to both sides of a story. I think we can do at least that for her. And I think given the level of accusations of what she has thrown out there, it would be, Larry should probably respond. And that's going to be a case of if he doesn't respond, if he can't articulate a reasonable response to this, I'm definitely going to say, well, she's telling the truth because he's embarrassed by it. Not denying it. And the truth is, the stuff that she said in here is bad enough that he would have absolute grounds for a lawsuit if she's making it up. But she's claiming she's got proof of some of it, and that's where he's going to run into trouble, because it's not defamation if it's true. So she could end up, and depending on where they live and what's going on, if he ended up suing and she can prove it in a court of law, she's going to countersue him and get money out of him. So again, he's going to have to address this at some point, figure out what he wants to do. And I don't know that I believe all of it. I'm inclined to. I'm inclined to believe it. Felt her story was pretty convincing, just based upon my gut instinct. But it doesn't mean I'm going to assume all of it's true. The physical abuse, she had pretty good evidence of that. Furthermore, because police have been involved, as she said, police were involved and they showed up with guns out and everything, that means there's police reports. That means there's a record of this somewhere, all right? Which is no longer just a fabricated accusation. Once there's a police report involved, that is no longer a case of he said, she said. Now the police have been called out there. All right, so there's apparently a police report, which I don't know if any of us can get a copy of that. She's got recorded audio. All right, she's got recorded audio. More than one case. And that's the thing that people forget. A lot of dudes, and that's come up a lot, well, why are these women recording this stuff? Because sometimes that's their way of fighting back. And that might be a little pro tip for you guys out there to keep in mind when you decide to go down that route. You decide you're going to become physically abusive, you might want to consider the possibility of look how many of the partners do record it. Once abuse becomes habitual, it gets recorded frequently, doesn't it? Yeah. Gets recorded pretty often because they know that that's something they can use later. So it doesn't mean because you do this stuff that you think you're going to get away with it. Well, that's not always the case, because we've seen this happen multiple times, even in this fitness community, haven't we? Of the women finally having enough of it and recording. Of course, their fans will always say, "Oh, they just fake that," and it's like they're recording because they knew he was about to hit them again, because it's repeated behavior. It might have been the 20th time before they decided to finally record it, right? But they started recording because they knew something was going to go down because of a pattern. That's a bad sign. Once someone's got audio of that recorded, or they've recorded it on their phone, you know it's a pattern at that point, because they know to go ahead and hit the record button. They know when it's about to happen. All right, she's got audio. There's apparently a police report. This is no longer a minor accusation, and here's kind of what I said before when this whole stuff came up with Rich Piana. And I remember other people came in. Some people didn't like what I had to say. A bunch of dudes defended his behavior, who hated women or whatever. And then they had other dudes came in, even some other YouTubers said, "No, you're right." What was it I said before with Piana? Real men hit weights, not women. All right? You guys out here, men in general, unless it's a true self-defense scenario, because I don't want people to think I'm saying you can't defend yourself. But realistically, you have no business hitting a woman. You really don't. There is no excuse for striking a woman out of anger as a man. There's absolutely no excuse for that. It is completely unacceptable in all circumstances. Again, unless it is a really and truly serious self-defense situation. I get it. If she's coming at you hard and drunk and's got a weapon, I understand. But if it's a situation to where you can wrestle them to the ground and restrain them and keep them from preventing harm, even in a self-defense scenario, it's a woman. And most of you guys out here listening, you lift weights. All right? I don't want to hear that. You guys all deadlifting 500 pounds. I'm sorry. They're the strongest woman on earth. You're not going to have any problem restraining her in a truly serious situation where she is freaking out and harming people or harming you. So again, there's no excuse for that hitting somebody. No excuse for it. And let's come back over to that point. Larry Wheels deadlifts over 900 pounds. He is a publicly admitted steroid abuser, abuse doses. Right? Talking about a guy pushing almost 300 pounds body weight, benches over 500 pounds, deadlifts over 900 pounds. All right? That's somebody who has no business hitting anybody. Okay? That's somebody who, outside of a controlled match in a ring with a contract involved, has no business putting his hands on somebody in anger. Let alone a woman. Let alone somebody who he's in a relationship with and supposedly cares about. Completely unacceptable. And you guys know my stance on that. I've always had that stance on that. I always denounce that sort of stuff. That's nonsense. I cannot support it, and I'm always going to denounce that sort of behavior. It's completely unacceptable. Domestic abuse is never okay. It's never okay. It's never justified. Never justified. Then we come over to all the other stuff. She talked about narcissistic behavior. She talked about, again, standing by her man through all of it anyway, supporting him. She was with him since he was 19 years old. They were together like 5 years. And then she talked about the infidelity, and that's what she said the fights were about. Now, we can't prove that. Is there evidence of the infidelity? No. That's one of those where I'm going to say, well, maybe, maybe not. Do you have evidence of that? That can be the sort of stuff that a woman throws out in revenge, but we come back over to the other behavior. The guy, again, narcissistic behavior, history of violence, history of various drug abuse, right? Would it fit the pattern? Yeah. What does she say, though? He cheated on her with other women and with men. Those were her exact words. That's what she accused him of. Now, I'm not saying that's true, but kind of come back over and look at the crowd he started running with, the whole bodybuilding scene. I mean, is that really far-fetched? Given the lifestyle of bodybuilders in general, serious bodybuilders, is that a far-fetched accusation? I don't think that it is. I'm not saying it's true, but she's claiming it is. If it's a pattern of behavior, if it's a stereotype of bodybuilders. Not going to say it's unbelievable. Not really strong evidence, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility. And she claims that's what the fights were over, that he became frequently violent when she brought that up to him. And she said it had been happening since the very beginning, that there was infidelity in their relationship starting with day one. Now, people will say, well, there's two sides to every story. Well, here's the other thing I would throw back at her. Why'd you put up with that? It's going to be the other thing. When you knew there was infidelity, and again, I know hindsight's always 20/20. I'm being Captain Hindsight here. When you know there's infidelity, you need to bail. When you know there's infidelity, when you find out about it, that's when you need to bail. Okay? That's when a relationship is over. It's when it's over, when you find out about it. Especially if it's early on and it's happening with multiple times, multiple people, you're not changing that person. You are not changing that person. You need to get out of that. And so I'm going to throw that one back over to her. Now, you knew this guy had a problem with infidelity from day one. You knew he was a piece of crap and you chose to stay with him. We have to accept that there are going to be negative consequences for that. And I'm not saying that there's some guru who's enlightened, who's all-knowing. I'm saying that based upon personal real-life mistakes. Once you know someone's a piece of crap and you choose to stay with them, there will be a price to pay for it. I've been there. And I have to accept that choice. I have to accept those consequences based upon my choice. A lot of people know about it, and I'm not going to get into my own backstory. But you guys know I was with someone who is quite literally a narcissist, sociopath, addict. Okay? I knew that. And I chose, whatever ridiculous reasons, I chose to stay in that situation longer. And I paid a personal price for it. It was not free. And I have to accept the consequences of that choice. And I'm not saying people deserve what happens to them in these cases, because a lot of times we do these things with the best of intention, and we can be blinded when it comes to people that we're involved with. Right? It happens. But when you let it happen, there will be consequences. I'm not saying you deserve them, but you do accept that there's going to be serious consequences when you choose to stay in that situation. Again, that's the only thing I would throw back at her on that. I'm not saying she deserved any of it, because she didn't. Be a little more discerning next time, and everyone else needs to take that same message to heart. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You need to listen to that and realize that. There are consequences for who we choose to get involved with, and once we realize the person we are with is really not a good person, or not a good person for us, maybe we bring out the worst in them. You need to cut and run. Okay? You need to cut and run, because if you don't, you accept the consequences of that choice. And they can get bad. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.